We have a major update. Moses Brown has been available to sign for the last few days, and he has been terrorizing the G League. But unfortunately, the Knicks have not signed him yet. And according to reports, that's not an accident. We also have an update from an NBA insider who is pushing the Knicks to sign a former NBA champion with its final roster spot. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. If you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. We still have that goal of reaching 50,000 subscribers, and your support means everything. And now, let's get started. The Knicks make a decision on Moses Brown. I don't know if there's a limit. Is there? About the amount of times you can mention Moses Brown. But if there is, I've definitely broken that limit. And honestly, I don't think you can blame me when you see the Knicks have a clear issue, a clear need at center, and you see a 7'2" monster roaming around, still available. You have to put two and two together. The Knicks have two available centers at this point in time. One of them, in Mitchell Robinson, is on a minutes restriction. If any issues happen, if any injuries happen, and after last night's game, we know injuries can happen at any point in time to any player, even the players you don't want them to happen to, like Jalen Brunson. Hopefully, we have more information about him and that ankle injury that he suffered last night. But going back to the Knicks center situation, it's clear injuries can happen at any time, and we need to prepare for the worst. And the way to do that is to sign players that we need that can help this roster. Moses Brown is one of those players. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like the Knicks are going to add him to the team at this point in time. According to reports from Ian Begley, he states here that New York still has an open roster spot and can sign a veteran while remaining under the second apron. The available pool of free agents for the Knicks to choose from includes Mo Bamba, Moses Brown, TJ Warren, Chuma Okeke, PJ Tucker, Marcus Morris Sr., and Taj Gibson. But even though Moses Brown is listed there, Ian Begley gives us an updated report on why he believes Moses Brown will not be added to this team. Shout out to Ian Begley for giving us the following information on a recent episode of his Putback Show. According to Begley, here's the Knicks' plans on their 15th roster spot. Begley states the Knicks still have that 15th roster spot open. We talked about Moses Brown, who's now in the G League for the Knicks. I just think if they were going to do that, if they were going to add Moses Brown to the team, they would have done it already. So I talked about it. In my opinion, PJ Tucker makes the most sense right now. I think he would be a good presence in this Knicks locker room. I'm also looking later this week. Mitchell Robinson. I don't think he can play back-to-backs yet. So maybe something has to happen by that point, and the Knicks have to address that situation. But you might be asking yourself, is that the only reason why the Knicks are not signing Moses Brown to this team? Well, according to Yahoo Sports, that is not the only reason. A player the Knicks recently signed is preventing them from wanting to add Moses Brown to this team very quickly. Let's break down this latest report that we have from Yahoo Sports. According to Yahoo Sports, they state New York's acquisition of forward Marjon Beauchamp may hinder Brown's insertion into the Knicks rotation ahead of the playoffs. Should injuries to the front court take place, the 7'2" interior force could get a chance at some point. This is a mistake. We have a need, a clear need at center. Really, we only have two legit centers on this team because Precious Achiuwa is more of a 4 than a 5. Even though he plays 5 for the Knicks view him as a power forward. If any injuries happen to the Knicks center rotation, that really leaves the Knicks with one available center. As a championship contender, as a championship team, we cannot operate that way. We must address this situation. And the way to do that is by signing a player like Moses Brown. Oh, yeah. You want to know why else it's a major mistake not to sign Moses Brown? Because last night, look at what he did in the G League. He continues to terrorize that league. Shout out to the NBA G League account on the app X for giving us the following information. According to them, Moses Brown is a problem. That's the official G League account, not even the Westchester Knicks account. That's the overall G League account acknowledging and recognizing that Moses Brown is a problem. He's a problem because he recorded his fourth 2020 double-double of the season for the Westchester Knicks. He put up 25 points, 21 rebounds on 71% shooting. That is ridiculous. Insane. I have no idea why at this point in time, the Knicks are not looking at Westchester, looking at the G League, calling this man up and signing him immediately. I know we just read the report from Yahoo Sports that stated that the Knicks signing forward Marjon Beauchamp to the team might hinder or prevent the Knicks from signing Moses Brown immediately to this team. But here's the thing. Marjon is only 6'7". Moses Brown is 7'2". And look at what he's doing in the G League. He is killing it over there. Clearly, he is ready for the NBA level. And the team that needs him the most is the Knicks. We need a center right now. We need the depth. And adding him at this point in time is helpful. If the Knicks think that maybe they can use Marjon Beauchamp for most of the season, and then before the season ends, they can sign Moses Brown to a contract, if that's the course that they want to go on, that may not be the smartest thing to do. Because even though you want to do that, it doesn't mean another team in the process isn't going to steal Moses Brown again and not give you the option later on in the season. If you want Moses Brown and you want to address the center situation right now, the way to do it is to sign Moses Brown immediately. There is nothing left to wait for. We are dealing with so many injuries right now. Players on minutes restriction. If we have another injury happen to our front court, we are not going to be able to recover from it. Prepare for the worst right now. Sign another center to this team and make sure that center is Moses Brown, because that's the player that we need right now. Please do not add players to this team that we have no use for. Speaking of which, Ian Begley, a great NBA insider, did mention that in his opinion, the player that he wants the Knicks to add is PJ Tucker. And as we mentioned on this list earlier, PJ Tucker is a name that has been linked to the Knicks and their final roster spot. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is insider Ian Begley pushing the Knicks so hard to sign former NBA champion PJ Tucker to their final roster spot? Well, Begley didn't waste any time, and he gave us the following reasoning on why he wants New York to add Tucker to this team. According to Begley, he states, just my opinion from being around the NBA for a few years, the Knicks should take a hard look at Tucker. The 39-year-old gives New York something it doesn't have right now. A longtime veteran in the locker room. Tucker, a 13-year vet and NBA champion, would, in my opinion, be influential and an impactful voice in the locker room. The Knicks obviously have a need at center, which is why they touched base with Moses Brown. They could sign a center or a free agent to a 10-day deal or a rest of the season deal. If they signed a non-center like Tucker, the Knicks, in theory, could play Preston Achiuwa as a reserve center. PJ Tucker, ladies and gentlemen, is 39 years old. He's 6'5". Sure, he is a former NBA champion, but we are looking at him over Moses Brown when we have a need at center. We want to waste a roster spot on veteran leadership. I think we have enough veterans in that locker room and enough voices in that locker room. I do not, and I repeat, I do not want to waste an open roster spot on a player who will never play, but the only reason we're getting them is because they're going to have a voice in the locker room. I understand. I get exactly what Ian Begley is saying here. With a team like New York right now, sometimes having an older veteran that's a former NBA champion can help settle things down if things are getting out of control. I get that. But right now, we should add that only if we have the luxury of adding that type of player. We don't. We have a need at center. And before we add players that we would like to have, we need to address the matter at hand. If any injuries happen to any one of our true centers, we only have one center left to really do anything. Unless you want to include Preston Achua in that and you stretch him to the 5 position, like the Knicks have been doing all season long. I'm not saying necessarily that's a bad thing. New York does need to do the things they have to do if they're forced into certain situations. But that's what I'm saying. Don't have yourself be forced in a situation. You can prevent that by making decisions now that will help you in the future. One of those decisions is signing Moses Brown. And if you're asking me, would I rather have an NBA veteran, former NBA champion, and PJ Tucker on this team right now, or somebody who was killing it in the G League? Yes, I know it's the G League, but still killing it there, putting up 2020 games, is a true center, 7'2", and exactly what we need on the roster right now in Moses Brown. Which one would I choose? It's a little hard. Oh, wait, it's Moses Brown. That's the obvious choice because we have a need at center. This needs to be the move. We continue to get injured. We continue to deal with injuries to each and every one of our players, not only the front court, but our guards too. If last night told us anything, injuries can happen like that before you can even think about it or expect it. Preparing for those moments is the best course of action. And the way for the Knicks to do that now, especially for our front court, is to sign Moses Brown. Injuries can happen at any point in time. New York, sign Moses Brown right now before we live to regret it and another team swoops in and signs him instead. I do not want to see that happen. I do not want to lose my mind. I do not want to go off. So please sign Brown now, immediately, and address the situation and the issues that we have at the center position. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Knicks and their current plans on that 15th roster spot? And their plans seemingly have nothing to do with Moses Brown. They may instead pivot and target PJ Tucker instead. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.